slight damper in my cinematics. The car's dead. All right, 1 second. There she is. Okay, and resume. So if we make our way right back here, today we are finally lowering the GTI. Now obviously this isn't a coilover set, it's just a new shock and a new spring, but the car pulled them off set much lower. And you look at the front of this car, this thing on stock suspension has massive gap in the front. Like, it's huge. The back actually sits a whole bunch lower than the front does. For some reason, the front just way up in there. So, like I said, not coilovers, the car will be slanted to the ground, but it's gonna sit much nicer with these. So we're gonna go ahead and measure the height from the fender to the ground in the front, and also from the fender to the ground in the rear, and see how much drop we get adding those. All right, so from the center of the arch here to the center of the wheel, we're about, what, 14? Okay. The rear looks much lower than the front. Yeah, this one. Yeah, the rear's at 13. Okay, so yeah, the rear's a whole inch lower than the front. So hopefully now with these, the car sits much nicer. So lowering a Mark III is probably one of the easiest cars to ever lower. There's literally 3 in the front, 1 up top, and 2 down on the knuckle. And then same for the rear. There's 2 17s on top, 1 17 on the bottom, and then out. It's probably one of the easiest cars to ever do. Pretty much all you're gonna need: 2 18s, wrench, and probably an 18 socket, 17 for the nut in the back, and I want to say these are going to be 22. They vary sometimes, but most likely there's going to be a 22. So first step, of course, jack up the car and then pull off both the front wheels. So now with the wheel off, this car has the ABS line here. It's going to pop this little bracket off, pop your brake line, which is actually already out of the way. So take this one off and this one off, and you have the 18 here and the 18 on the bottom. Just use an 18mm wrench on one side and then use your impact or your ratchet on the other side and blast it free. Now since these bolts do look a little bit rusty, take some of this and just let it sit for just a minute. And we'll do this side as well. So now we let those soak for just a minute. If the impact is not strong enough, we'll pull out the breaker bar and then just manually break them free.
Yeah, I think we'll have to use the breaker bar.
All right, breaker bar it is. All right, so we have the breaker bar. That's for you. And if you need even more, I have the added leverage pipe for the, we're not playing around, it's gonna snap. So hopefully we don't need this, but we'll see.
Are you gonna hold the other one?
Oh, she's on there good, huh?
She's on there pretty good.
Okay. Breaker bar, added pipe. Oh, there she is. Good grief. A couple more of those, and then we can probably use impact.
Okay.
There we go. Wow, those are on there good. Here's the bottom one here.
Yeah.
All the leverage. There we go.
Jeez, okay. It's like bending.
Yeah. There we go. The sound of success. There we go. All right, bottom side done. All right, so for our top, yep, 22 is correct. Grab the impact and send her off. Easy money. Now it's off. Now reach through here and just work your way out.
Hang on, there's still okay.
Good. Easy money. Mark III suspension is so simple. It really is. It's so simple. I mean, you might have a stuck bolt a little bit, but with some leverage and PB blaster, there's 2 here and 1 there. There's really not much to get out of the way. So comparing stock versus these new ones, I thought these were H&R or Coney, but I think they're TA Technics. So we'll see how they actually ride. But they are smaller than stock by about inch and a half, 2 inches, I would say. So the car's gonna sit much, much nicer on these. And then for reinstallation, I usually do the bottom two first and get a jack, lift up the entire hub up to here, do your top nut, and then your first side's done. You gotta hit this one. Just straight up. And good. Take this. Like that. And good. Easy enough. And then once we have it all down, we'll adjust for the camber, tighten these ones down, and then this side's all done. So something that is super common on Mark IIIs, and I see it all the time, this top nut is a 22, but this top nut is a 21. All the time. All the time. Front is officially done. I got the camber pretty much straight on both sides. Not perfect, but it's good enough for now. All right, go ahead, send her down. Let's see what we get. Again, not gonna be like slammed to the ground, but better than stock height. Okay.
Dang it.
We talked about this.
I thought I had it this time. I really did.
Ooh, that's lower than I thought. That's way better. That's way better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. We went from, actually where's the measuring tape at? But we went from my whole hand flat through, and now it's about 2 fingers. Dang, those went down way farther than I thought. I mean, I saw the suspension on the car I pulled it off of, but for now, I mean, it looks way, way lower. Look at that. That's what this car needed.
That's
Low.
like 12 inches or a foot.
12?
Just over.
Nice. So nice drop of 2 inches from just springs and a new shock setup. I mean, that's good. A 2-inch drop. Cannot complain at all. Wow, it looks so much better. So much better. All right, let's do the rear. I want to see the entire car. Dang, I was not expecting a 2-inch drop, but that's sick. All right, so for the rear, we're gonna do both sides at the same time. I have the car jacked up right here by the rear beam brace, not actually the rear beam, because you want this to sag down, because on the passenger side you have to have this side come down, because if not, this bolt is way up here next to the gas tank and you can't fit it out. So what I do is jack up both sides of the car, so this side's up and that side's up. We'll go through the hatch, undo this one, undo that one. I put a jack under the rear beam because you don't want it to drop all the way, but just enough that you have enough room to get this bolt right here out. And you're gonna do this one, undo that one, drop it out, and then use a jack to lift the entire beam back up to the top, and then retighten this one, retighten that one, and then the entire backside is done in one shot. So in the back, once you remove these covers, you can see the strut top there and there. The top one will be a 17. This comes off, it'll be another 17 into that, and it's all on top, and then the last 17 down there on the bottom. Now, if you don't have an impact gun or something to spin this really fast, you can do a 17 wrench and then use like a vice grip to hold this from spinning and then break this free. But if you have an impact gun, usually if you hit it, it's just spin no problem and you're good to go. And as you're pulling these rear things apart, make sure you take them off and set them in the order they came off. That way you have everything right when it goes back together. So you can see everything is now off of here, all lined up. We put it together. It just goes this one, and then that one, and everything's exactly the same. So we've got this one undone, that one undone. You can see the jack in the middle supporting the rear beam, because otherwise it's going to drop really far and destroy your bushings over here. Now we'll go through, do this 17, that 17, and then we can use that jack to come down, and that'll lift the beam back up. Tighten, tighten, done. There it is. There she is. Let me see how we're looking side by side over here. These ones look about the same. Now the front of the car was 14 and 13, and now it's 12 and 13. So hopefully it evens out going from this to now that. All right, so something super cool I just saw on this car. It's only on this side of the car. Now I haven't seen this on any of the Mark III. Normally the rear bolt through suspension, it goes through. You have to reach your hand inside the beam, trying to get the nut on, it's a pain. But this one actually has this little clip, you can see right there, that's holding the nut on inside. It's kind of hard to see, I'm turning the light on. There you go. This little clip is holding that nut. So you don't have to do anything inside. You just blast it off, blast it on, and gonna go. That side didn't have it, and I've never seen this before, but that piece is amazing because normally you have to stick your hand in here trying to hold it. It's a pain to do, but that is so nice. I've never seen it before. It's only on one side of the car too, but that is so cool. I like that. I want all my cars to have whatever this is. Rear suspension is done. Wheels going back on. Almost time to drop her down and see how she looks. All right, that's it. Moment of truth. Bring her down.
See, I can do it.
All right, so the front went down super nice from 14 down to 12. Ooh, the sun coming in. But the rear went from 13 down to like 12.5, right? Or like a little under 13?
Yeah, I'd say like 12.8.
Yeah, it really didn't drop a whole lot. The front's a tad bit lower than the rear. It's not horrible. Now, I do have a set that I had from Steve a long time ago. I only have the rears, one rear set of coilovers from Mark III. We could swap those on and have all the adjustability and actually make the rear match the front, but maybe not today. Either way though, the front at least looks a million times better. The back's still a little bit high. I don't know. You feeling another rear set? Yank those off real quick, put the coilovers in the back, and then make it even from there to there, because the front's good. Like for springs, that's perfect, but the rear's gonna come down a bit. All right, well, let's go back up, take this off, and put the coilovers on. So these are the rear coilovers here. These are the ones that I actually had on the Savoy for a little while. I got from Steve, and then I pulled these off, put the STs on. I gave the fronts back to him, so I had just the rears. But now that the front of the GTI is lowered, we'll use these ones, match the rear, and all good to go. All right, at this point, the car is officially done. We have springs in the front, coils in the rear, but honestly, you couldn't tell the difference, and it looks good. And I'm fine with that. All right, what you think?
That's good.
Good work, team. So we went down 2 inches in the front, 1 in the rear, from 14 down to 12, and from 13 down to 12. The car sits perfectly even now. It's crazy how much dropping the car like 2 inches makes this thing look a million times better. So good. So now all we need is trim paint, and she's pretty much good to go. And until we like swap wheels out and that kind of stuff, we need an exhaust for the car, possibly do the cross flow head, and then maybe swap the entire engine. Who knows? But she's looking good for just such simple parts. It's like so much better. Once it has the trim paint on it, it's gonna look amazing. The GTI just keeps getting better and better. This car is so simple and it looks so good, just so OEM plus. The seats, the red belts, the factory wheels, now it's nice and low. I love the red calipers, the white on white. Such a super simple car, and it's coming together so nicely. But with that, get on the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Do not forget, be thankful for every single day. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.